Picture this. You wake up, head upstairs to your second or third floor bathroom, and step into the shower expecting a nice, powerful, refreshing blast of water. But instead, you're greeted by this sad, sputtering trickle. Ugh, we've all been there, and let's be honest, it is incredibly frustrating. But what if I told you that this annoying problem doesn't actually have to be a permanent reality? Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to take that weak water flow and turn it from a daily annoyance into a completely solvable logic puzzle.
Okay, let's dive into this. The very first thing you need to know is that you absolutely do not have to just live with terrible water pressure. Today, we're going to empower you to become a full-on plumbing detective. By the end of our time together, you'll know exactly how to read the symptoms in your house and solve the mystery of your home's water pressure. You see, the clues are literally right in front of you. You just need to know how to read them. Think of this as our diagnostic roadmap. We'll quickly cover the weak water mystery, finding the pressure drop, 6 common culprits, safe DIY fixes, and finally, exactly when to call in the professionals. We've got a clear, structured triage plan, so let's get right to it.
Part 1. The weak water mystery and understanding the symptom.
Part 2. Finding the pressure drop and diagnosing the exact source.
So, the initial diagnosis is actually remarkably simple. It really all comes down to upstream versus downstream. To figure out which one you're dealing with, you just need to walk around your house and observe. Look, if all the faucets in your house, both hot and cold, are showing low flow, your issue is upstream. That means the problem likely sits right on the main supply line, the water pressure regulator, or out by the water meter. However, if only a few specific fixtures are acting up, your issue is downstream. The cause there is usually localized just to those specific pipes or valves. Make sense?
And this brilliantly illustrates how you can further narrow down the culprit just by testing the temperature. Try this. Turn on the tap. If your cold water pressure is perfectly normal, but your hot water is coming out weak, well, you've just found a massive clue. This tells you the issue is directly tied to the heating system, meaning it's localized either to the water heater itself or your specific hot water lines.
Part 3. 6 common pressure culprits and identifying our main suspects. Suspect number 1. Faucet aerators. These are those little flow devices right at the end of your faucets and shower heads. Over time, mineral scale or just general debris can build up inside them, gradually restricting the water flow. And because these fail gradually, the pressure might seem totally fine in one area of the house, while your upstairs showers feel completely underpowered. Suspect number 2, the water pressure regulator. Now, a lot of homes use these devices to protect their plumbing from super high city water pressure. But if a regulator gets clogged, wears out over time, or is just set incorrectly, the entire house feels it. It feels totally underpowered. And because gravity is always working against you, the upper floors are always going to suffer the absolute worst effects when a regulator fails. Let's look at our full suspect lineup to really build out our understanding. So we already covered clogged aerators and failing pressure regulators, but do not overlook partially closed shutoff valves. These are actually often left that way after prior plumbing work. You've also got to watch out for sediment buildup, physically narrowing the supply lines, especially in the hot water lines of older homes. And hey, speaking of sediment, that leads right into water heater issues, like a restricted dip tube just clogging the whole thing up. Finally, we have the ultimate sneaky culprit, hidden leaks. These can drop your available pressure, sometimes sporadically during certain draw periods, creating this really frustrating low-pressure complaint that just seems to come and go.
Part 4. Safe DIY plumbing fixes and your treatment plan.
Now, let's slow things down a bit and focus on exactly what you can safely investigate right now. Here are 6 highly actionable DIY steps you can take today without buying any specialized tools. First, compare the cold and hot water pressure at the exact same time at a ground floor faucet and an upstairs fixture. This shows if pressure is lost as it rises. Next, grab some white vinegar from the kitchen and soak those aerators and shower heads to dissolve stubborn mineral deposits. Once that's done, you'll want to check your shutoff valves, especially the ones near the water heater or main supply. Make sure they are fully open, turning them clockwise or counterclockwise depending on the valve type. After that, go physically verify your pressure regulator setting near the main water entry, looking for any obvious corrosion. Number 5, if only your hot water is weak, try flushing the water heater to remove sediment. And finally, always keep a vigilant eye out for damp areas, dripping fixtures, or unusually high water bills that might point to hidden leaks.
Part 5. When to call professionals and calling for backup.
So the crucial point here is knowing your boundaries. While being a DIY plumbing detective is awesome, you also need to recognize exactly when the situation requires you to put down the wrench and call for a licensed pro. If you've cleaned your aerators and checked your valves but still can't restore pressure, call a pro. If your regulator looks corroded, is leaking, or just seems faulty, yep, that is professional territory. The exact same goes if you suspect deep sediment inside your main supply lines, or if you actually find evidence of a leak behind a wall or underground. And here is a fantastic tip from our source. When you do call a technician, specifically ask them to evaluate the system pressure right at the meter, check representative upstairs and downstairs points, and fully inspect the hot water lines for flow restrictions. This ensures they're doing a genuinely thorough diagnostic.
To wrap up our narrative today, our source materials summarizes this entire process perfectly. Quote, with the right diagnosis, you can usually pinpoint whether the fix is as simple as cleaning aerators or as involved as replacing a failing component. Unquote. That perfectly captures our goal here. You now have the knowledge and the structural logic to demystify your home's plumbing. It is no longer just magic happening behind the drywall. It's a real, mechanical system you can actually understand and troubleshoot. So, I want to leave you with this one question. Which of those 6 DIY steps will you check first today? Are you going to go unscrew a shower head and let it soak in some vinegar? Or are you going to go test the hot versus cold water pressure? You are now fully equipped and ready to investigate this plumbing puzzle. Get out there, find that pressure drop, and get your shower flow back to normal.